My name's Tony Bennett and I work on the National Apprenticeship Service in Newcastle, and I'm basically a proofreader who I basically look through the adverts for the National Apprenticeship Service vacancies, change grammar, get rid of any discrimination and publish them online. That's my job.
And what sort of background did you come from?
I come from a mining background, from Ashington. My granddad was a miner, my uncle and my dad, most of my family's worked down the pits, and apart from that, the sort of females in the family generally sort of worked in retail, that sort of thing. Working class background in Ashington, and schooling was basically, there was sort of type junior schools, middle school, that sort of thing.
So what was school like for you?
School was a bit of a mixed bag. I found I got on quite well at school. I was quite sort of bright. I liked writing a lot. I did very well, and my mum certainly, my dad had sort of aspirations that perhaps one day I could go to university, even at early stage. I remember being at the middle school. I was about 11 and a half, 12 years old, and even then one or two teachers sort of suggesting that I could perhaps go to university.
Right, and did you have an impression of what a university was at that age?
I had no idea what university would be like. To me it was a dream, an unachievable dream to a certain extent. It was what a few people, if they were lucky, would get accepted for.
So were there any problems that you encountered at school? Did you enjoy school? Were there any issues in terms of the teaching or anything?
I had a great time from the junior school to the middle school. I had certain teachers who really sort of picked up on certain what they saw as talents within me, certainly the writing ability. And one of my teachers, Mr. Straker, who took me out to all the different classes. Like we used to have like a round robin of classes like cookery, home economics, woodwork, doing metal work and art, and she took me out those just to sit and read poetry and write. And I got to about the fourth year then. I was basically staying in school till 4:30. Everybody was leaving at 3:20, and I was in the library and reading things like Shelley and different bits of poets and things. So, and doing bits of writing poetry, and I even wrote a little book for children at one stage and did a video with that sort of thing. And then I went to high school, and that's when things went drastically downhill, unfortunately. The high school they didn't allow you to be creative. It was very much, here's what you have to learn, do comprehensions, and I wanted to write and be creative and expressive, and all that was stymied, to be quite honest, and I lost my interest in school. And it was about the fourth, I think so it was the third year, then the fourth year, basically by Christmas, I just about packed in doing anything, really, writing wise, which was quite sad.
So did you sit exams or anything?
I did sit exams. I failed most of them, and I resat them in the lower sixth year. Got through, started my A levels, and I'd really, I tried a little bit to sort of do something. I did A level art with art history and A level English literature, until one day I went to the class, and it was the second year, the upper sixth, and the teacher basically said, "What are you doing here? We haven't seen you for that long. Don't come back." After school, I basically ended up unemployed, couldn't find any work, and it ran straight into almost, because I'd stayed an extra year, I almost ran into the miners' strike. Had a couple of years unemployed, then things really went downhill when the miners' strike kicked in. What drew me back in education was, there's several reasons. First of all, my parents obviously were a bit disappointed. I felt I was letting my parents down. There was such high expectations from when I was younger. Secondly, I did want to express myself. I felt like I was letting myself down, I suppose, in the end. I wanted to do my qualifications again, get caught up on GCSEs, which I hadn't passed at school, especially the things like English literature, because I was very much English oriented. And quite honest, in the end of the day, work as well was quite, doing the same job over and over again is quite boring. I was quite bored with work. And I loved the idea of going to college, and actually it was more of a social thing. You could share experiences and learn new things together, which I found really, really interesting and very, very sort of stimulating, to be quite honest.
So how did the teaching style differ, or the learning style differ at university from the high school?
University was totally different from high school. High school was, it was basically, this is how to pass your exams, you know, learn this, learn that, tick boxes. It was more like a tick box exercise. Where university, you encouraged to actually think, research, find it for yourself, and you know, go down avenues that you were interested in. It wasn't about, this is what you have to do, this is where you're going. It was about, you know, exploring and widening your horizons, basically. And, you know, learning, thinking for yourself as well.
So as a result of going to university, how did your life change, you think?
I think it changed in many ways. I think, first of all, I think as far as knowledge and understanding, I think that was vast. I think it was a huge change. I'd already started, obviously, with going to college at night times, but I think it really expanded there, and it actually gave us a discipline as well. You taught how to discipline your ideas, how to think more clearly and more critically. So I think it's very useful when it comes to sort of looking at life, especially the sort of subjects I did. I was more interested in the humanities. So the humanities sort of made us think about how we live together and how to treat other people, and you know, the expectations, or how sometimes we'll expect too much from society or people as well. So it's very, very interesting and very, very, I think it's very sort of, it was good for me in the sense that it increased me tolerance towards people to a certain extent as well.
So as an adult, before you went to university, what did you imagine university would be like? And then when you went to university, what was it like in comparison to that impression?
I always felt it was almost like, it's like watching a movie and you see Oxford or Cambridge, and it's this sort of dreamy, you know, nice stone buildings and everybody having chats and over beers and discussing, you know, really interesting subjects, which, you know, really was really appealing to us. I thought it was a bit of a fantasy. You know, I didn't expect it to be all like that. When I went to university, if I was really honest about it, from September till New Year, I didn't do a thing at all. I just walked around and talked to myself, thinking, why am I here? I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd made a horrendous mistake. I'd given up my jobs, I'd given up that security, and there were so many people so confident. I felt, you know, I'm never going to survive. These people are going to be so much more intelligent than me, far superior, and I'd made a mistake. And it wasn't until I actually chatted to a mentor, a mature student mentor, that I realised that it wasn't going to be as straightforward as that. You know, I did have something to offer. And not until I actually started working as well and really doing some essays that I realised that, you know, these people aren't geniuses necessarily or superior.